tits, bitch.
Hello, Fiends and Fiendettes. Welcome to the movie review portion of episode 100, our centennialth episode of the best horror podcast on 7voltmedia.com, Scream Fiends. I'm your host, Xander, and with me once again is Russ.
No, I'm not here.
And joining us for our special birthday episode is none other than the man himself, the man upstairs.
Birthday episode?
I was going to see if you would... Mark.
Hey, how are you doing? Cut you off again.
So you can subscribe on iTunes, get the full episode every week-ish, because we talk a whole lot more about than the movie of the week. This episode was mainly a comic book episode, it seems.
That's partially my fault. I was really hoping to spark a debate.
Between Venom and Carnage.
I have
yes.
some unrelated anger towards comics built up to me, so I had to go off on a side tangent.
Margot's has stretched me a few times with like the Silent Hill versus Resident Evil debate, and then the getting Fire Pro Wrestling on the list for video games debate.
Best game of last year, best game of this year.
I suppose it released again. Can we do that?
Yeah. No.
Get at us on Twitter at
Spider-Man's
Scream Fiends. Let us
here.
know what you think of our movie of the week and what we should watch next week and everything in between.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/ScreamFiends. You can donate if you like, but you do not have to. All of our content is always free of charge, but we love your support. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that comment, and say, fuck you, motherfuckers, we hate you.
Have we got any of those yet?
No, more like, this was too long, or...
God, it's...
But I liked it otherwise.
With how often we go off on tangents, so we should just change it from like Scream Fiends to like hanging out with Russ and Xander, and just like, hey, we just get together once a week and just talk, and then just film us talking, and that'll be that.
No, I like the name.
Scream Fiends is good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Green Beans. Oh shit.
This episode's movie of the week is 1977's Suspiria.
Roses are red, violets are blue, but the iris is the flower that will mean the end of it.
You can run from Suspiria. You can hide from Suspiria. Suspiria. But you cannot escape Suspiria. The only thing more terrifying than the last 12 minutes of Suspiria are the first 92.
This movie is starring Jessica Harper as Susie Banyan. Do you know, has she done anything besides Suspiria?
I can look it up. That's what I'm good at.
Sure.
I'll look it up.
Stefania Cassini. Oh, this is my favorite thing about Dario Argento movies. Stefania Cassini as a Sarah. Flavio Bucci as a Daniel. Miguel Bose as a Mark. Udo Kier. Actually, that one has to be like, I don't know, how do you... Udo Kier. Das Udo Kier. Something like that.
No, I feel about the Germans from earlier in this episode.
As Dr. Frank Mandel, and Joan Bennett as Madame Blanc. is written by Dario Argento and Dario Nicolodi, and directed by Dario Argento.
God. Yeah, she was in Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh.
Oh, forgot about that weird movie.
So this movie, if you haven't seen Suspiria, stop watching, run to your nearest window, and leap to your death.
Well, it's a good thing I just watched it for the first time.
I take that back. If you haven't seen Suspiria, run to your nearest Blockbuster, ask your local associate
There's only one left.
where the S section is, where the horror section is, and grab that Suspiria VHS out of your nearest red box.
Man, I really want video stores to come back.
Me too.
wanna
I miss
go-
browsing.
I miss
like,
browsing and then be like, oh, I want
physical
this one.
copies.
Then you pull the box away, and then there's no copies left of that movie. Though that's what I
yep.
want. I want to be able to go somewhere and not get what I want. In this day and age, you can get whatever you want anytime you want. I want to go somewhere and not get what I want. I want to be disappointed that way. I miss
Watching
that.
movies used to be like a thing. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna sit down and
Yeah,
watch a movie.
yeah.
Because you had to either rent it or you had like 5 tapes, so this is gonna be the one you watch today, or it was in the theater. So.
Or you hooked your your VHS player would already be hooked up, but you
Well, they're called
the
VCRs.
Sunday movie of the week would be playing, so you copied it onto your VHS.
Exactly.
and-
Yeah, exactly. It would only be on like, oh shit, this is on. I better
Yeah.
record it or better sit down and watch it because it's the only time I'll be able to.
Yeah, I just procured a VCR recently.
Nice.
I got some old weird horror movies I got from our friend. Well, we got to get him on the show, Scott.
Yeah.
I got some from him, and I'm gonna watch those. But
So what we're saying is that we're old and we're gonna die soon.
and we don't want to.
So Suspiria begins with a voiceover talking about Susie Bannion going off to the dancing school. Rotterdam, was that the name of the school?
Oh, I don't know. It was. I couldn't tell you.
It says Rotterdam on the door, or the little seal next to the door.
It was like Tans Academia and then something of Rotterdam. I believe Rotterdam's a city.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, Tan's Dance Academy.
Tans. Dans?
Dance.
Dans.
Tan's Dance
Tans?
Academy.
Tianzi.
And then we see Susie Bannion for the first time. Why should we see the airport, like departures, Germany? It's in German.
Yep, like the automatic tour or whatever, that door that they had those back in the 70s. Those doors that just open up when you motion detected. I think it was like a plate you stepped on though.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Right away you get a sense of like, okay, this movie's going to be very colorful.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
off the bat. And
Yeah.
it looks great too.
Yeah, I should say this is the first time I've watched the Synapse 40th anniversary edition, limited edition. We got 6,000 copies, I believe they made,
Yep.
and you bought 2.
Somehow. I gave
But
one away.
you actually got 2?
Yeah, I got both of them.
Oh,
Yeah, so I went and bought it, and then like I didn't get like the confirmation email right away, so I went and bought it again. And then I didn't get that one. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Then I got one, and then my wife's like, yeah, I got charged for this movie twice. Do you want me to just send it back? I'm like, no, I want both of them, because I knew what I was going to do. I gave it to my friend Alex in California. I said, you need to have this, and so I gave that to him.
yeah, the image quality on this was beautiful.
Holy
so
shit.
I imagine
Yeah.
all the 4K or HD restorations they've released, because there's more than just the Synapse one.
Yeah, that one just has a tin box and
Yeah, yeah.
cool,
Looks beautiful. So if you get the chance to get one of these versions in the high resolution 4K, whatever,
do it.
check it out, because it's. I feel like everything that's great about Suspiria really pops even just that much more, having that clarity.
It is a really good job. Like, yeah, you lose that film grain. I mean, everything. It's just, yeah, all the colors and stuff. Because it's a very color. I mean, you can tell right away. It's a super colorful movie. And it was actually kind of spooked me about the remake coming up soon. Was that they talk about how there's not as much color in it.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
That's coming up here.
Yeah, a month away roughly.
So yeah, but yep, right off the bat though, you are gonna get hit with some saturation.
Yeah, you get a good sense of, a little bit of tease of the artistic direction of this movie with, as she's looking outside, like where all the taxis and stuff are, you get the music.
Mm-hmm.
Goblin's amazing soundtrack. But then when it cuts back to just her, the music stops, and then when she looks, it looks back outside. It gets the doom and gloom music going on, and then she approaches the door, and you get a nice close up of like the pneumatic releases of the automatic doors.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like I don't know. With Suspiria, that's kind of what I think of, these like weird camera angles, and
really weird deliberate shots.
Like
what's the point to showing the locking mechanism of the automatic doors?
Right.
And then the next part we got her is her trying to get taxi. So she after like 2 or 3 drive by her.
It's stormy outside, raining.
It's like super stormy out. Finally gets in one, and for some reason he focuses on that like dam. There's like a dam off that you can kind of see. And you got water coming through from like the rainfall, and you could see the water like getting really aggressive. It's like, what? But it zooms into that for some reason, and then you get some more witch music and them driving off.
She's trying to explain where she's going. She's from
America. She's from New York.
New York. And the driver doesn't speak any English, and she's like trying to tell him where she's going.
He doesn't at first, but magically learns English in a question later on.
It seems like more he just didn't give a fuck. Like he just didn't want to deal with her at all.
Yeah, because she's like, Estes Hausche or something, and he's like, what? Estes Hausche was? And then finally he goes, oh, okay, when she shows him the picture.
Yeah.
Then she asks him, has it been raining long? And he says, about an hour. Or something like that. It's just like, what the fuck? But, yeah, so there's that guy.
Yeah.
Well, they pull up to the Tan's dance academy.
Yeah, this nice red like
building.
bright red, yeah, building. And that's another thing you get from this high definition, like the architecture and all the set design. Like really, it's just amazing. Like you don't see this in any other movie. I feel like something this like, I don't know, just magnificent.
Because it's not all CG. It's all real.
Yeah.
And what's neat though is like, despite getting up-res so much, is it doesn't feel fake.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you get into those like walls or inside, and it almost could look like it could have just looked like a set, which is kind of what happens with like when they did that thing where they changed the refresh rate of things and everything looked weirder. Like Peter Jackson did it with the Hobbit movies or the Lord of the Rings movies.
Frames per second. Yeah.
When they mess with that stuff and they up-res things, it just makes it look. This didn't do that. It felt like. It felt like we were watching Suspiria on the best TV you could buy in 1977. Just kind of, it still felt old, but
like a movie that was made today, but was like a
period piece.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a better way to put it. But so they pull up to the Tan's Dance Academy, and some blonde chick runs out, and she's all pissed and spooked.
Mumbling
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Susie kind of picks up a couple words that she's saying, but the rain is coming down so hard that she can't really make out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the girl takes off running.
And Susie's like, well, I'm from New York. I see weird shit all the time. So she's like, I'm going in. She goes, hello. And she's hitting the little intercom. And you can't come in right now. What? We don't know who you are. What? Okay, well, I'm supposed to be here. And then the taxi guy's like, I'm out of here. She goes, and she's like, I thought you didn't speak English. But no, so she ends up leaving because she can't get in. And they're driving to a hotel. And they're driving somewhere. I don't remember where they're driving.
Yeah, they don't really get into where she goes because then we switch over to the blonde girl.
Yeah, and she's just running through the woods.
Yep.
Yeah, as Susie's in the taxi, she looks over and she sees that girl, running through the woods.
Yep.
And I don't know if she actually sees her, like, or if it's kind of just implied.
Sure.
Just the way that Dario Argento movies work, and Suspiria especially.
Yeah. But then the blonde chick ends up at her friend's room in was it an apartment complex?
Yeah, it looks at it. It's the craziest designed apartment complex I've ever seen, but I believe it's an apartment.
Yeah, it was very Escher-esque. These staircases were really severe. Like when they shoot the different angles, it looks like it shouldn't work.
Yeah, it has all those like what's the word for like shapes that aren't like have a certain number of sides or
rhombus,
something like that. But that's like kind of what the wallpaper or painting on the walls is. It's like a bunch of shapes. And
it's almost Art Deco like maybe for architecture styles.
Yeah, it is, and that's one of the things I really like about this movie is the like 60s and 70s sense of design, where everything was super gaudy and weird and like overdone. Like just like you put too much work and too much thought into this, and it's designed to the absolute
Then you end up with a bright red building.
Yeah, I like it. I really absolutely personally I love like what people would consider gaudy like architecture and design and stuff like that. You guys know my love of gold and like having everything being over designed in gold and super bright and stuff like that. I love it. So yeah, those are the things that really stood out to me. The sets and shit, like the entrance once you get into the dance academy. It's that crazy blue room with the gold handrail leading up. That shit always sticks out to me.
Honestly, that was maybe the one part that you could tell it was up-res because that handrail looked like somebody wrapped tinfoil around it and then painted it gold.
Exactly, around the actual rail. Yeah, I did think that as well.
But so she goes in there, meets her friend.
Yeah, you learn that she's been kicked out of the school.
Yeah, she's been kicked out of the dance school. And her friend's like, I've been kicked out 1,000,000 times. You can get back in. Don't worry about it. And then go take a shower. And she's like, okay. So she goes in the bathroom. Then the wind blows the windows open. And we got our little jump scare there. Then her friend comes in immediately after they blow open. She says, why didn't you shut them?
Yeah, she treats her like a friggin' idiot. Like, what?
And then you wouldn't understand. Then she leaves. She locks her friend out, and she is like kind of contemplating whatever she had just dealt with. And then she looks outside, and you see her friend's like laundry hanging on some rope out there. It's like a little onesie and some stockings, and so she's looking. She gets a little closer, and she holds a lamp to it. Then you get the big creepy yellow eyes, and a hand comes through the window and like squeezing her face up against the glass. And it's like, that looks like she might have actually have been in a little pain while they shot that scene.
Well, yeah, because it's like clearly, clearly pressing pretty hard on the glass.
And so until it finally shatters, then she comes through and gets some owies. But then she runs away.
She doesn't really run away.
Oh,
no,
that's right.
They bring her upstairs.
Yeah.
The person who's in the apartment runs out and knocks on doors trying to get people there.
Yeah.
That was actually... I thought that maybe this scene would set the tone for the rest of the movie in the sense that, like, all right, she had her head smashed through the window, and then the girl ran off, but then all of a sudden they're up on what looks like the roof. It's kind of they don't really lead up to
No,
Like,
she's
they were just immediately there.
yeah. It doesn't show her like getting pulled through the
Yeah.
window or anything
No,
like that.
she just winds up there and gets stabbed like 8 times or something like that. And those stab scenes like that like it was pretty damn good. Like for 77's tech, like it was like it felt pretty like this lady might be getting stabbed for real. It's like, here, we're gonna stab you, but we got a doctor on site. Don't worry. Here's some Novocaine. You're not going to feel anything. Here's an extra $70 in your contract. Okay, you ready?
Clearly some pretty decent knife wounds, because then there's a close-up shot of her beating heart.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And he takes the knife, stabs it directly into the heart.
And then slits her throat, which they used like a pig skin or something.
No,
That
they
was
don't.
later.
Yeah, they don't cut her throat.
That wasn't her?
He takes like
Oh, that's right,
a
that's right.
telephone cable.
Yep.
Or was
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
a clothesline?
It was
Yeah,
like
like
a
a clothesline. It was more like a normal rope.
yeah. Well, because it was attached to the wall though, kind of like how
yeah.
how they like how you bolt lines across things. It might have been a telephone wire.
Yeah, but so he makes a noose out of it, wraps it around her neck, and
He actually wraps it around. That was one of the weird things.
Oh.
He wraps
Yeah.
it around her body.
that's right.
And then
Yeah.
he smashed that. That was one of the coolest visual scenes.
Oh.
where he smashes her head, but the shot from below, her looking up to the glass.
He has like
in
a
her head.
skylight
Yeah,
almost.
and her head hanging out through it. That's
Yeah.
like really awesome.
It's
Yeah.
really
It's
creepy
cool.
looking, yeah. And then like when they go back up and you see her and her head
Yeah,
like
yep.
hanging through the hole, it looks surreal. Like it almost looks like they're like vacuuming her in, like she's being sucked into it.
Yeah,
the way
because
it looks.
and it is like it's a stained glass window that's up on on the
Yep, on the ceiling.
skylight, whatever it
Yeah.
is. So
Well, then she falls through, and
Yeah.
so what happens is she's falling. Is the rope around her waist cinches up and then like somehow catches her
Yeah,
neck
gets-
and she gets hung.
gets
You know-
over her arms.
Yeah.
and-
That's a Marcos nitpick right there. That's one of those small things that annoy me. It's like, I mean, wouldn't it be caught? Like, wouldn't it catch
Yeah.
under her arms? Like, why would
Yeah.
it cinch under? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's one of those things that.
But
Yeah.
she
Well, you know what it was. I can explain it. It was magic.
yeah.
it works, it fits. But she was not the only casualty in this, because the broken glass,
And like the
And, like,
the metal
the frame.
Yeah,
the
the steel
frame.
frame, yeah, I
I
guess,
can't remember
yeah.
what they call that stuff because I looked into it. But yeah, so it's the frame. Yeah, she gets impaled.
Yep, it's like almost like an L-shaped frame, part of the frame.
Yeah, it gets kind of hits her in the hip and like her neck chest area,
Yeah,
and then she catches a piece of glass in her face.
which is pretty good makeup they had going on with her.
Yeah, considering some like blood back then was pink, this was all red.
It's
It's
red.
still very
it's-
vibrant, super.
But it
bright
fits.
red.
It fits like the
And thick.
color
It does,
yeah.
of the whole.
It's
Yeah.
dang on Rampo blood.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, it even holds up to modern
Oh yeah,
TV, high definition. It all looks pretty good. All of them.
and that's what I kept thinking throughout this entire movie, was that even the stuff that looked kind of cheesy, and we'll get to some of those moments, but even that stuff I feel looks so much better than if they were to have a CGI something or other
I will take
come up.
a animatronic like coconut ball bat over a CG bat any day.
Animatronic. That thing was just on the
Oh,
screen.
But the string was attached to like a lever and it made the wings go.
Sure.
How do you think they did the glowing yellow eyes?
So like, it must have been some kind of like superimposing thing they did, because it also looks like the eyes are way bigger in the sockets than they should be.
Yeah, they almost look like cat eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that first one, especially coming through the window, that definitely looked like some kind of overlay for sure. Later on, when they're in the attic area, I don't know, may have been some kind of different effect. But
So then we get the first shot of Daniel, the blind piano player, and his dog, his helper dog.
Yep. And he goes into the building.
Yep.
And then we also get, when he's going in there, we also get,
Susie? I think that's when she first arrived.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
and she goes in, and the one lady apologizes for her not getting in last night. And she goes, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, first she meets Miss Tanner, who is like she's not the headmaster because that's Madame Blank,
She's like
right?
the XO. She's like the
Yeah.
executive officer of
Yeah.
the dance academy.
Yeah, yeah. And Madame Blank is talking to some 3 dudes.
Mm.
But then she's like, excuse me, and she goes and talks to Susie. That's not her name.
Is it?
Susie, the main,
Yeah.
yeah,
think it is.
Susie Banyan.
Okay, yeah.
They're all, like, everybody in there, except for her, passive aggressive as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, everybody,
Yeah.
nobody likes each other at all. They think that they're, like, getting along, but they all know that they hate each other.
Madame Blank is talking to
Yeah,
some
Susie.
investigators.
Yep, yeah. I was going to, that's,
Yeah.
you don't know who they are at first. You
And
just
then she
kind of,
goes
yeah.
back and talks to them about
She goes, yeah,
what
it goes,
happened.
yeah, exactly. And then, Susie corroborates. Yeah, I saw this girl leave here at 11.
Yeah.
See, she left here. We don't know what
She was
happened.
talking about secrets and lilacs or
Yeah.
tulips or whatever they
Yeah. And so,
Irises.
Iris, that's it.
Yep.
so then she goes and meets the crew, the dancing ladies.
We see Pablos.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Pablos,
Oh, yeah.
the
And he-
Romanian.
yeah, he's fucking ugly, and you can tell him at his face because he only speaks Romanian. he's fuck ugly.
But he got new. Ever since he got the new teeth, he's been smiling.
Yeah, he had gingivitis of the gums, so they took all the teeth out, and then he got his top teeth, then he got his bottom teeth. Bang.
He looked like Jaws from the James Bond movies, Down syndrome brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was. Yeah, good thing he only speaks Romanian. He's not gonna hear this. He's gonna hear the show and not even know what's going on.
Then we meet Olga, who is a bitch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Seems
got
like the class. Well, they're all kind of snotty, but not really.
they're all ballet dancers. They're all snobby. Like
Olga is the only really real snide, and
She is the mean girl.
yeah,
in
she is the
group.
mean girl.
I get the sense that any one of the other girls would be in her position if she was. She's like the alpha,
Yep.
and somebody would take her place if she wasn't there,
Mm.
right? It's like they all kind of want to be in her position where she's kind of above them, making fun of everybody else below or giving shit.
Yeah. So then they attach Susie to this other woman, or she's gonna get her extra shoes for dancing from the other lady. But then, because she's gonna be rooming with Olga, and she's gotta pay her $50 a week, or something, or $50
She was
a
gonna
month.
live in her place,
Yeah.
and then she ended up. She was gonna live in Olga's place and pay her $50 a week or whatever
Yeah.
it ended up being. And she was, up her ass about it, even though she just got
Yeah.
there. It's like, and they even make a point to mention that, like, fucking everybody is out to get your money for some reason here.
Yeah, it's like the one lady's like using her shoes, tries to get money out of her.
Yeah.
But then
Could it be not a coincidence that that theme is being played out?
Greed.
Because it'll get brought up later. We'll get to that. But that's I didn't notice it personally myself, so it's interesting now that you guys say that.
Sure. Then she meets her friend,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Sarah?
Yep. Oh, that's right. And then Olga's like,
Yes.
oh, Sarah and Susie. You know what else is named with S? Snakes. And then Susie's all like, is this a movie?
And then what's his name? Mark. Mark comes over
Oh,
with his moose
moose
knuckle.
knuckle.
Oh, yeah. It's very pronounced.
that guy looks like he might actually not. He might be a bipene kind of dude. He might have 2 penises the way that thing was laid
The
out in there.
split.
He's got just 2 penises, and they're there. Or he's got like one penis and one elongated ball. I mean, really, the way that looked.
I don't know.
Like I always thought, oh, it's
I
cute
don't
that
know.
they call it
I don't know
moose
about
knuckle.
this.
But this, if you need to, if you ever want to know why they call it a moose knuckle, you need to see Mark and Suspiria. It is perfect. It is a perfect. Like it looks like they took an imprint, right? Like they went to Canada. They cast an imprint of a moose in Canada, like the footprint, right? Then he uses it as a codpiece.
Oh, like instead of a sock?
Yeah, he just stuffs his pants with an actual like moose knuckle mold that they.
Oh, we forgot about the fancy boy.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
The fancy lad,
Albert?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fancy lad.
Yeah, what's that guy about?
Just a kid that was hanging out there.
And he was fancy.
Yep.
He had, what do they call those, like short pants?
Yeah, like.
But he had
call
like
them
a
A frilled collar?
frilled collar. Yeah. What the fuck?
I wanted to say, stick, stupid.
Yeah. Then Susie's, I don't know if she's walking by or looking out into a room and she sees one of the I don't know, groundskeeper type ladies.
She was later cooking, maybe a housekeeper.
Yeah. Big burly German woman. But she's like polishing some kind of crystal. I think it was a crystal, right? And Albert is sitting like on the armchair next to her.
Okay, yeah.
And then Susie starts to feel all under the weather, like
Susie
dizzy.
starts to feel woozy.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's the thing where I started to think, like, did I miss something? Was she slipped something beforehand? It couldn't have just been the thing shining on her, but I guess it was. In hindsight.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
Witchcraft.
That's all you need to know.
So she starts stumbling through the halls, and we get some more of that good old Dario Argento saturation of color, and it's kind of cool. It's how he, like, when a scene is surreal or kind of out of this world, that's when the color comes in. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like in that hallway too, and it pops up throughout the movie. The red light coming through those the doors that have like those glass, almost like teardrop shaped panes. Always look really cool coming against the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. I wonder, like, because I don't know if you guys have ever been like close to passing out before or anything, like where like
Every day.
things get really vibrant, and that kind of seems like whenever that like kind of shit happens, things get more vibrant in the movie. Every day.
So, yeah, she goes to dance class, and Miss Tanner wants to know what she can do, but she's really feeling dizzy. She feels very weak, and so she decides she's gonna give it a shot because she wants Miss Tanner to be impressed.
Then she passes out in hemorrhages.
Yeah, out of her nose and mouth.
Yep. Then we get a scene where she's coming to, and Tanner's just trying to force feed her water through a glass carafe.
Oh yeah.
And she's just like, drink this water, bitch. And she's like, you can hear the glass clinking on her teeth. And she's like, stop doing that. And then
something about the hemoglobin. You need fluids to instantly get that hemoglobin back.
Yep, and then Mrs. Blanc comes in and it's like, Olga brought all your stuff here. Because like they offered her a room. She's like, I'll just stay with Olga.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm Mrs. Blanc, and I'm creepy now. And so then she gets her stuff, and they move her in, and she's like, well, okay. Clink, 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 clink. And yeah.
Then we get Dr. Vardigas.
Something like that.
Something like that. Come in and gives her a shot.
Yep.
And
tells her to drink a glass of wine every night.
Yes.
I thought the doctor was going to play a bigger role. That maybe they're going to show him drugging the wine or something like that, because that seems, to be a clear thing later on. But I don't believe he pops up at all anymore. I think that's all he was.
Yep. Tells her she can only eat bland food for a couple weeks. Yeah. Didn't really say what the shot was.
No.
Just.
It was helping her make more blood.
Uh-huh. Then we get Susie brushing her hair.
Yeah.
And I think because I never actually noticed it seeing it before, but with the high definition, you can actually see the stuff start falling from the.
You could see it in the old ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was waiting. I was watching, waiting for it to start falling in. Start raining maggots.
Yep. Turns out to be pulls one of them out. Yep, it's a maggot.
Yep. Lots of maggots.
Starts falling everywhere. That floor of girls is getting maggots all over them.
And they're screaming and freaking out. Then they find out it's like a box of food that had just come in that was already spoiled.
Yeah.
Spoiled, yeah.
Up in the attic, yeah.
Yeah. So they all get to sleep in the gym.
Which is another really cool set piece. They put like sheets up all around the gymnasium.
To separate the boys from the girls.
Yep.
But then Moose Knuckles like, "Hey, Susie." And she's like, "Ah." And then the other girl's like, "Oh, it seems you have a admirer." She's like, "I guess."
Yeah, it looks really nice with the red silhouettes.
Yeah, they turn the lights off and it's red, and it shows all the silhouettes behind the sheets. Really cool looking. Then we get some strange snoring sounds coming.
Wheezing and snoring and.
Yeah, because that's like the main backdrop behind Sarah and Susie. Right behind them is
somebody laying and sleeping.
Yep. And Sarah goes on this story about.
Like they didn't have.
What you mean by goes on this story about?
What
Special guest appearance by Siri.
Australian Siri?
Yeah, your phone's been Suspiria.
That's weird. That's weird. Why are you listening to me, Siri?
That's fucking weird. Got it on camera.
I don't.
Ghost. Oh, we're in our own Paranormal Activity movie. Oh.
Subscribe and like.
Yeah. We got a ghost in here.
Yeah, this is where we get.
Subscribe and like.
This is where we get. Sarah talks. Sarah has a little bit more knowledge of the goings-ons around this place.
Been there for a little while longer.
Yeah. I think, do we find out here that Sarah was also the friend of that lady who fell off that roof or whatever? Fell through the skylight?
Probably.
I think later on we find out that she was the roommate, right?
Yeah, and then okay.
She was originally.
That's still later on.
That Susie was in. Yeah.
Okay.
In this part, she tells her story about like they didn't have enough space and she had to go sleep in a different room, and that's when she originally heard that snoring, and it was the they called her the directorate or something like
Directress.
that. Yeah, directress. Yeah, and they heard the sound of the directress, and that wheezing, snoring sound's been in her head.
Yeah, that's how she knows that that's who it is. Yeah,
because she doesn't like maggots either.
I guess this is more of a question for the end of the movie, but since we're here, might as well bring it up now. Do you think the directress is Helena? What was her name? Helena Marcus.
I'm gonna say yes, she is.
I mean, that was one of the things that one of my few complaints about this movie is that multiple times she says, "Are you trying to kill Helena Marcus? Or are you trying to?"
At the end, I'm Helena Marcus. I think she says at one point.
It's like it's just not.
Hey, guess what? I'm Helena Marcus, and you know what you're doing? You're trying to kill Helena Marcus.
She says it like 3 times.
Helena Marcus don't play that.
It just wasn't needed. You can either leave it like slightly open to interpretation, or because I think it's implied enough that it's like you can kind of just assume it was her.
I mean, she's kind of hard to see.
But why
at the end of the movie? So I think that's why. Just so you know,
why would she be down there though?
Because she got maggots in her room.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that part is weird. Where like
maggots, magic,
I guess
magic maggots.
She's an ancient witch. I mean, I doubt she would mind maggots in my mind, but I don't know. Who knows what a real witch is like?
I guess.
Let me call my wife. Just kidding.
There you go.
And then we get Daniel's out at. Oh, wait. How did?
So they come.
Oh,
so
that's
she
right.
recovers. They go back to the dance studio area.
Mm.
Where I can't. Oh, dog bites the fancy lad.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
why they're upset at him.
Yes.
Then he leaves.
Then he leaves. And one thing I also want to point out, another stupid small nitpick of mine.
Mm.
The song he was playing, and the only music that they had to accompany them dancing was his piano playing. But the song he was playing had like strings, had like violin strings, and when he stopped, the strings stopped as well. And I was like, that's just one of those.
Oh, it's a violin piano. Have you ever seen those before?
Violino.
It's you hit the key and it sends this bow across the strings and.
He was blind. He had superpowers.
Yeah. It's his fifth sense. Make strings.
It was Stan Lee created him years ago, and Dario Argento bought the rights. Well, actually, Jack Kirby created him,
Yeah.
but Stan Lee took the credit.
Yeah. So Daniel gets fired, or quits. Fired, right?
He gets fired.
He's blind, not deaf. So I don't know if that was also implying something. If he knows what's going on because he hears things.
Maybe he was blind, so he couldn't see because he had to be there. Maybe they don't want him to see things, so they picked him up because he was blind. Maybe.
No.
Yeah, that could have been the reason why. And I think that's probably a good point. But it seems like they just would kill anybody who's left there. Or, well, maybe because the girl had knowledge too, so maybe he knew. Maybe he didn't know exactly.
It was strange to me, like the fact that he repeated like saying he's not deaf.
Definitely, it does. It certainly implies that he's heard something, or he's heard people talking.
Yeah, he's just screaming, "I'm not deaf," because he's basically trying to blackmail them into keeping his job. I'm gonna tell everybody that you're Helena
Which
Marquez.
would explain the next part.
Yeah, they cast a spell on his ass, but it doesn't hit him.
Yep, starts out, he's at like a weird beer fest type thing with the
Germans.
yodelers. Yep, doing with their, what are those little pants?
Lederhosen.
He leaves and he's out walking his dog through. I feel like this is a pretty iconic scene of the movie where the big empty courtyard with the what looks like the
plaza almost.
the Lincoln Monument.
Yeah, those old those old buildings, like what are those Greek buildings called? There's
Pantheons.
Those kind of buildings.
With all the columns, big columns going on there.
Well, pantheons is like a list of gods.
Parthenon.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Something.
It's a Parthenon.
Oh, you guys gave me something to do.
Parthenon, I think, is maybe a specific building, but I think it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, in either case, that kind of building.
It's just like this moonlit, completely empty courtyard, and then Daniel's dog starts barking.
He gets real mad.
Yep. And it sort of zooms up onto the top of this building, and there's this big gargoyle. And I couldn't tell if the gargoyle was up there at first, and then they do the whole like shot of the camera zooming down, and then looks back up and the gargoyle's gone, or if the gargoyle was at a different part of the building. Do you remember?
I'm not sure it moved. For some reason, I took it as implied as there were like birds or bats or something up there that were flying around. In my mind, I thought that it was maybe to represent those, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I remember.
In any case, the dog stops barking, but suddenly lunges, takes out Daniel's neck.
Yeah, apparently Daniel's never seen I Am Legend. You're supposed to lay down with your crazy dog, and when the dog finally loses it, you snap his neck. But you got to make sure the camera's not looking. You ever seen I Am Legend?
Will Smith?
Yeah. Remember he's got to kill his dog?
Unfortunately.
You don't like that movie?
Seriously, when he fucking blows himself up, that's some dumb.
The book's really good and doesn't blow himself up in the book.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. in Omega Man, same story, and also the Last Man on Earth. I think, yeah, same story as well.
Charlton Heston was the Omega Man, right? And
Yep.
who played
Vincent
Price?
Mhm.
And then Will Smith.
The I Am Legend is just the name.
Some pretty good effect. So this is another one of those scenes. Like it's clearly like a puppet.
Hand puppet, yeah.
Yeah, when it shows him
His courage,
on
the
his neck.
Comedic dog.
But at the same time, I feel like it still looks better than CGI.
And as
Like-
compared to the bat, that hand puppet was on screen for less time. So, I mean, you can tell it was, but then they cut away from it quick enough that it's like, okay, it's still you didn't see all the seams like you do with like the bat. And shit.
And they intersperse it with like shots of the actual dog.
Yeah.
And they must have like set up some sort of meat.
Yeah, when it pulls.
The dog's like chewing out chunks of meat and all that. Yeah.
Poor Daniel.
Daniel is no more. R.I.P. Then we get some Sarah and Susie bonding moments. They go swimming.
Yep.
And
The 70s were better. That's all I
Yeah.
feel. Anytime you see something from the 70s, there's girls not wearing any bras and they're nipping out constantly.
oh yeah,
Everything that was made in the 70s has that.
there's actually I don't know why I noticed it, but one of the girls had this pretty cool swimsuit. Like the bottoms were
Yeah,
like a curtain.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a tiny
square
curtain?
in front.
Yeah,
Yep, I
yeah.
noticed. I caught that too.
I don't know. That was cool.
Could you like pull the shades aside and like?
That's what it kind of reminded me of. Like, ooh, I wonder. Whatever.
Yeah.
So they're swimming and kind of discussing some notes, right? Or is that after they're done swimming? Sarah has some notes.
Yeah.
Or letters.
And so is this the part where Sarah reveals to Susie that she was the one on the intercom?
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So they're talking about because Sarah's in on all this shit, but she didn't run, and so I don't think that Helena Marcus knows that it's her yet, that she's in on it. But I think shortly after this, we find out that they figure it out. But yeah, they're going over the notes and stuff because then she reveals like, oh yeah, that girl was my friend and she saw something here. This place is cursed and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I couldn't really keep track of like when they were talking about the letters, what the letters pertain to. Because I know because when they get back to the room or whatever, Sarah finds out that all the letters are missing, except she kept one note, and I don't even know what that one note said.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. But it's right though, because I think she was going to show Susie the letters.
Yeah.
And then they weren't there. Then she goes on a hunt or something.
But she does say that she did send them to one other person, and that was Dr. Frank Mandel, her friend,
Okay.
who's off somewhere right now.
I wonder if that's where Inferno comes along. Because remember, Inferno has that scene where that guy gets that package.
Well, we meet Dr. Frank Mandel.
Oh, that's right.
Udo Kier. That's the youngest I've ever seen him.
Well, we're not quite there yet.
Oh, is that not that? Is he not the Dr. Frank?
He is, but
Okay.
and here's where the first time that witches get mentioned, because Sarah says something to the extent of like, "What do you think of witches?" or "Do you believe in witches?"
that's right,
Something like that. Then we get like a green room.
Yeah.
I don't know if the power goes out or.
I don't think so. It's once again Susie is passing out from whatever.
That's
in the
right.
line,
Yeah.
and the room becomes green, and then there is a really awesome shot, maybe my favorite in the movie, where Sarah goes to the door, and it's shot from above, looking down, and the light bulb goes out, and you see her within the light bulb while she's at the door.
Yes.
And then it kind of slowly goes down as she walks out. It was really cool, really cool shot.
Yeah, so it's the green room. She walks out into the red hallway, and she goes up into the blue attic. Then she's walking past, and you see the yellow eyes again.
This is creepy. Eyeballs, man.
Yeah,
creepy.
and I believe there's a shot before that shows the straight razor.
Yeah. There's something that
It's like a
alludes to-
case with
Yeah.
a straight razor
Yeah,
in
that's
it.
right. When she while she's going upstairs, you see something moving like upstairs as well, and there's like a case where the razor is just sitting out there.
And yeah, the yellow eyes goes for her, but she gets away, gets into a room, locks the door, and okay, so this scene is probably my biggest little hang up with this movie.
Sure.
She puts this little latch on the door to lock it, and the killer takes his straight razor into it and is like very gently hitting the lock.
Just go like this, and it's over.
Yes, like you're not picking a lock here. You're literally lifting this latch up.
Even better would have been if she would have just held the latch down. Like, she would have been able to
Yes.
put more force on that latch than they would have been able to lift it up.
Yes.
But then he might have just punched through the door and pulled her through it, and her
I
skin
guess.
came off.
That, I mean, it is kind of annoying, but in hindsight, you kind of feel like maybe they were doing it on purpose to lead them to a trap. I mean, why would you do that? Wouldn't you just go in and kill the person?
Yeah.
But very clearly, there's a trap set up, which is
Which
is cool. But is another small thing for me. It's like
Magic.
You don't look down before you jump through a window.
No, so she sets up all the these suitcases or whatever they are up next to this window, climbs through, jumps down into,
Razor wire.
I don't know if they're razor.
Yeah, it didn't even have barbs on it. It
No.
was just kind of straight wire,
Yeah, for
like chicken wire fences.
some reason.
Yeah, they set up.
Yeah.
Well, she's in it.
Yep.
And she's not getting out.
Killer comes and there's a nice throat
That's where
slit.
that slash goes. That
Yes,
looked great.
and it's like
Uh,
a real slab of
yeah,
pork.
maybe like a dead pig.
yeah.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah, because it's real, definitely real meat.
Yeah, it
being
looked great,
slit with a straight razor.
Yep.
Yep. Sarah is now dead. R.I.P. Next scene, we get the cover up. Madame Blank is already saying, "Oh, Sarah left. She took all her stuff and left. Like, I heard her leave this morning. Didn't you hear her leave, Mark?" And Mark was like, "Yeah, I heard her door close and footsteps going away."
Was he in on it, or was he just like a dummy?
I think,
he was just a dummy.
yeah, I think he was just dumb, and he heard someone leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They should probably just set it up to make it sound like.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to hear with that moose knuckle.
And that's where we meet Udo Kier's Dr. Mendela.
Yeah, and that guy's got crystal blue eyes.
Yeah, crazy.
Mm.
In a different alternate timeline, he could have played like a James Bond.
Ooh,
Oh,
Dark hair,
Yeah.
super bright blue
Yeah.
eyes.
oh yeah, the German version.
Yeah.
James Bond.
Susie goes. And he's like a psychologist, and it's some sort of psychology school or
Yeah.
something or other.
Yeah, they're professors.
You want to,
Make sure we're still running.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. And yeah, it makes me wonder if his entire all his lines were dubbed by a different actor, because whenever I've seen Udo Kier, he has that really thick German accent.
Frost.
Yeah. Yeah. So and in this movie it's perfectly clear,
Yeah.
like American English.
Or he just
So-
has a good American accent. But
Oh,
like
I
people
guess.
hire him like, you're German, do a German voice.
Yeah, they're picking
He's
him up because
typecast.
he's typecast German. He's like French.
And Dr. Mandela gives us. He's basically the exposition of the background of the school and the main villain, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the weird thing where we get that same exact scene two times in a row, pretty much, just with a different doctor.
Yeah.
It's like first her friend tells her about it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, we're gonna make sure.
Let's have the man.
This
Let's have
is
the man
actually true.
explain
This
things.
is real.
Nobody's gonna trust this young, handsome doctor. We need an
Yeah.
old doctor in here, psychologist.
Yeah, that's right. I thought you were talking about Sarah's talking about this, and then
Well, yeah, it's just progression. It's like first the Sarah
The
tells
girl
you.
is
And it's just like,
delirious.
okay,
girl.
you know what? You've been dancing too much and not eating anything.
Tutus
and
on too tight.
your tutus and shoes are on too tight. Okay, then the cute young doctor's like, you need to get some experience. Then they bring in the old guy, and they're like, oh, this guy, he's fucking done it all. This guy's been around the block. He was probably at the Salem witch burning trials. This is the man.
yeah. So we get to learn about Helena. Why can I never think of her?
Marcus.
Helena Marcus, who
Greek witch fled to Germany or whatever.
started the dance school.
Not a dance and occult school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But then they couldn't do the occult anymore. It's like they say occult weird, too.
Yeah.
It's like occult.
Dies in a fire.
And then they rebuild it as just a dance school. And
Yeah.
Yeah, because no more cult.
yeah.
We've had a fire.
No
That's
more
enough.
cult. Just no more cult.
And she's known as the Black Queen.
Yeah.
Black Queen. And this is where I was talking about. The old doctor mentioned something about the witch's goal is to accumulate wealth,
Oh, okay.
and they can only do that by like evil, like doing bad to people.
Sure. Naughty. So they started a bullshit dance school where they just get money and then kill the dancers.
And the witch has like a support system of people that are trying to build themselves in her image, but they are powerless. And something about a cobra with its head cut off, is not dangerous.
Yeah. They say he says something about like the Black Queen. Whoever the queen is like 100 times more powerful than
all of them, the rest of them
yeah,
combined.
Yep. So Susie is finally on to them poisoning her food. So she
Dumps out the blood wine.
into the toilet, which is a nice little shot, like
Yeah.
close up of the toilet bowl with the first is I think fish, like a piece of fish, then she dumps the wine and another piece of something or other, but
So I don't drink alcohol, and I've never had wine. Is it really that thick?
No.
And viscous? Like,
Oh,
it's really
no.
stuck on-
No.
oh, she dumps the wine in the
in the
sink.
sink,
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
It's
It's
like I
not
never
like
thought
that.
it would be. So.
No.
It looked like the wine was the same stuff they used as the blood
blood,
in
and
this movie.
That's why I said that her blood wine.
because she
Yeah.
had to like push it into the sink
Yeah.
because it wasn't going in.
It could have been blood, and maybe because she didn't eat the food, the illusion wore off. Magic.
Or it could just been whatever shit they.
You can
I
tell
always
it.
just assume, like, to me, it's like, oh, they're drugging it, but it doesn't necessarily be drugged. It's hocus pocus.
Yep.
Magic.
Magic. But probably actually now that we know that they don't have the magic powers like the Black Queen does, maybe it is just poisoned. So that shits on all my other theories about it just being magic.
Oh.
How'd they get that one girl to the roof then? We got to talk about this.
They just didn't show her. being
Deus
drugged.
Ex Machina.
She had a
She was helicopter lifted. That really ugly guy's got a cousin who's got a helicopter.
then we get the bat scene.
Yeah.
Bat
out of
flies in the window.
Yep. And she's like, ah. Then she goes on the hallway.
It gets up. No, it gets on her neck.
Yeah.
It's-
It's on her head just for way
Yeah.
too long. Like, they should have cut.
It looked like a furry turd with bat wings.
She knocks
made
it
out
off.
of, like,
She knocks it off, and then
felt.
it's like crawling on the floor. weirdly.
Yeah.
Like bats usually don't crawl.
Well, when they do,
Right.
it does actually look pretty weird because they, their hands and their wings are the same thing, and so they
Yeah.
go
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah,
And they will crawl. I have seen a bat like kind of crawl like that.
I guess.
But-
Very realistic.
Yeah.
She ends up throwing a blanket over it and taking a stool and smashing the shit out of it.
Have you ever seen those spiders, like those Halloween gags, with like a spider on like a rubber binder
Yeah,
string type
yeah.
thing? That's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
It's
Or
too
you
bad
know-
that when she clapped her hands and it didn't go. Hate those fucking things.
Then we kind of breezed over a little bit, but earlier they had mentioned hearing footsteps outside of the room, and now Susie actually gets the idea to count the footsteps because they want to figure out where
They're going.
they're going at
Yeah.
night.
I can count the footsteps, she says.
Yes.
And she does. And she finds out where they're going.
And it actually is the number of footsteps that she says it's going to be. She says it's going to be 20 footsteps, and I counted Susie's footsteps in it. That's what you don't get in a lot of movies these days.
Nope. Nope.
Footstep counting, no footstep
Yeah,
counting
no.
anymore.
No, the new Suspiria, that character is just going to be an anti-hero. And it's probably by Marvel. It's probably Suspiria Marvel, and it's going to be the Scarlet Witch instead. And this is how she gets her powers. She gets
Now
it from
she's
the
an
Black
Avenger.
Queen.
She's
Yeah.
gonna roll on.
Suspiria is the Scarlet Witch origin movie.
She's gonna roll around on Heelys or whatever those things are.
Ooh, it sounds like she rolled for like 20 seconds. Zoom.
Uh,
Man, the aughts suck.
she ends up following him, gets to this room that's carpet, and that's why she's like, oh, that must be why the footsteps stopped. And then she visualizes the last words of the original girl that she saw in the rainstorm coming out. She can hear, because originally she just picked out like 3 separate words,
Yeah.
Iris and something or other. And then she can actually hear what she says, and she's like, turn the blue one. And do you think it's on purpose that the color of the irises are the same colors of like when we get the nice vivid shots of like the red room, the blue room, and the green room?
Yeah. It's probably on purpose.
Yeah. I agree.
I think so.
And I like that. I like, even if it's small, like this. I like movies that show you something at the beginning and then it ends up paying off somehow. Even though it's not like a big, thing that has been set up in this movie, but
little things like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the biggest fan of like Quentin Tarantino, but I did like Reservoir Dogs, and there's like little color coded things like that. Like when they go into the one room to wash their hands, there's like a different colored bottle, and they're all on one side, but the one other one's over here, which represents how the group got split up and stuff. So there's like little reveals like that through that kind of shit. I do like that too, where you get these little codes. It's almost like watching House of Leaves or whatever, that crazy book.
Yep. So she turns the thing, finds a secret room, gets into the hallway with like all these Latin words on the walls, gold trimmed.
like floral, like I think they call it filigree, like those laurel type leaves and stuff.
Yeah.
Painted on.
Ends up peeking into a door where all the witches are, and little Albert for some reason.
Well, somebody's got a class to join up.
Yeah. And what are they doing? They're just
They're talking about her. We
Oh.
gotta kill that American bitch.
yes, make her sick, and they give Madame Blanc. What do they give her first? Does she
I think they
drink
gave
the
her a
stuff
drink,
first?
right?
But I thought they gave her something else.
Can't remember. I do remember them giving her a drink.
Yeah.
Or no?
Do they clink her teeth too?
Probably. That's how they do it in Italia. But then it's almost like Madame Blanc can see her out there, or is it just Albert can see her?
Albert looks at her and he whispers to one of the handmaiden servant women, or is it to Pablo? It
Might be to Pablo. Yeah.
I think it's to Pablo.
And then they both look out, and that's when she starts to run away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Then
but
she goes into her
they
room.
like. Does she start to feel it? Because I feel.
I think she does before she starts running.
Yeah.
She kind of like.
Yeah, she
punches
grabs herself. But then she gets to a room with Helena just there?
Well, she's like like taking a little nap, and she's got the sheet around so you can see like her silhouette, and then she's trying to be quiet.
But the cool thing is like before when you see her silhouette, it's very solid, and you see right behind the sheet coming through with the red when they're in the gym area. This time, it's the silhouette, and it's just kind of like a plain white background, but the silhouette is kind of like imposed on there, and it's kind of like has like a floaty-ish kind of look to it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it isn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, and at first it seems like maybe it's just like a bad effect, or like for some reason they didn't set up the silhouette right. But it kind of makes sense when she pulls away the curtain and nothing's there.
Yeah.
Kind of implies that.
It's like, what's going on? So what happens? Yeah, so she's trying to be quiet, and the guy's looking for her. He's got that lighter that used to be Sarah's.
Yeah.
So he was looking around, and she's like, oh, and then she bumps this peacock, and all these like daggers fall down that were like the leaves, and then these balls roll and like hit the bed. I really like that whole shot though, like where like it gets right on the floor, and you watch the balls hit the bed, and the Helena Mark is like, "You gonna kill me?"
Forgot to mention that she bumped while she was in the back room looking into the where the witches are hanging out. She bumps into Sarah's dead body.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Woman.
Yes.
And her eyes have I don't know like tape or something over it.
Yeah.
But her eyes were open.
Well, it looks like they had put needles in her eyes, like when for like bobby pins or something, or not bobby pins, but like pins. Like put pins in her eyes. It looked weird. And so then she, the witch brings her in, and she's got a knife.
Yep.
And then, but the lightning is striking.
Yeah, it's like lightning
Every time the lightning
crashes.
strikes, you can see the outline of this invisible witch lady.
Yeah.
You're gonna kill me? I'm Helena Marcus. Hey, guess what else? I'm Helena Marcus. But one more thing, though, I have to tell you before you try to kill me. I'm Helena Marcus. Oh wait, I'm Helena Marcus.
So Susie grabs one of the peacock things.
Yeah, one of the crystals that fell off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as it's flashing, she takes that chance to see the silhouette, jabs it right into her neck.
Yep.
Helena.
Then she's got like 6 minutes to get out of there with the baby Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Then Helena appears in the flesh, has all the like burnt as she was in a fire.
She's like Spawn without the costume
Black
on.
claws.
Yep.
Nice continuity. And shit starts to crumble.
Yep.
Walls start breaking apart.
Sure do.
Now, I thought this was really cool. Like the way stuff is like exploding and right next to Susie. So you have to imagine that this poor girl is probably getting hit with all kinds of shit because one spot
not acting.
specifically,
she's actually trying to
there's
avoid.
like a big statue that explodes as she's coming down the stairs, and it's like right next to her. And it's just like, holy shit. And like doors explode right in front of her.
That reminds me when she comes into that one hallway and the door opens up and she's like this. I always liked that scene where you're looking down the hallway and it's got like the shades or the curtains blowing in. She's like this, which it looks kind of hokey, but like there's something about that because the door opens up without her trying to open it, and I like that scene.
Yep. So she gets out of the building, the school.
Yep.
You see Pablo with like a bloody face.
Yeah.
All the witches are like holding their necks, and
Yeah.
because their ruler, their queen, got slayed, and
But there's two more.
2 more.
There's 3 mothers.
Well, we'll save that one for later. Those 2 for later.
Didn't we watch Inferno for an episode?
Nope.
Oh. I think I talked about it because I watched it.
Mm.
Yeah, Inferno's actually a sequel.
Okay.
Yep, and then that came out in 80. Then in 2007, Mother of Tears came out.
Yep.
Sure did.
Yeah, Susie makes it out of the school, has a nice little smirk on her face,
She's got a good smirk.
and a fire starts in the school. Then we get credits. That was it.
Yep.
Now, that was the Italian closing,
Yeah. So I might just
but I think it's the same, essentially the same.
I might just watch the beginning and end of the American version to see what they changed then, or see what's different for the international release.
Yep. Yeah, what do you guys think of Suspiria?
I love that movie. I like the surreal shots. The sound's good. The Goblin soundtrack, I love it. The
Yeah,
acting
really
is-
unmatched, like, as far as soundtrack, cinematography, set pieces, all that. I mean,
I like
the acting
I like the
isn't...
skeleton of the story too. You know, I found out it's actually based on this thing called. It's called Suspiria de Profundis, which is this English essayist wrote this. It's by Thomas D. Quincy. So I'm gonna try to find this thing. It's basically some kind of a prose poetry or something. I'm looking at this thing, but it's I'd like to see what that's like. What the whole thing is more fleshed out to be. But because there's 3 mothers, and they're the mothers of sorrow, so like the second movie's the Inferno, and that's why I thought it'd be kind of cool if they linked it by when they send the letters off to the guy's at a music school, and his sister sends him that package, and then he sees that other woman,
Yeah.
you know, and then that scene where she goes like underwater. Oh man, I love that movie. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I always loved that movie. I remember the first time I saw it was good. Mark?
Yep.
I was surprised at how straightforward the story was. I mean, a lot of old movies, especially ones made in Italy and overseas Europe and all that, a lot of times they do just focus more on visual stuff. And I mean, I shouldn't even say that. It's not fair because, you know, there are people who have different storytelling conventions and, you know.
Well,
Well,
we
and
don't know the
even
language.
Dario Argento, like, there's no psychic monkeys in this movie. So.
and yeah, like, you know, they don't have a handle on, you know, English written language, and or maybe, you know, there's a bunch of different barriers into storytelling that goes into older movies, you know, from Italy and Europe in general. But yeah, I was really happy to see that it was a really straightforward story, that it wasn't really abstract in any way other than, you know,
The actual cinematography.
the cinematography and the shooting of things and the lighting and stuff. So yeah, I really appreciated that as somebody who gets annoyed when, you know, people take liberty. They don't tell a coherent story. So yeah, I was happy. There's, I mean, very small things about like the story that, you know, annoyed me, and they're minor nitpicks. Like, I think there's maybe too much. It's funny because like I want Silent Hill to be explained a little bit better, where I think this may have been a little too overexplained. Like you could understand a lot of what was happening in that movie without them giving you like 3 info dumps right in a row.
Right.
Like that wasn't necessary.
And, like, I think the problem with like Silent Hill too, and its what's that called, exposition,
Yep.
is it just wasn't interesting.
No, that too. Right?
This was like, this has a neat, because it's not very long. It wasn't a 20-minute exposition.
They don't
Yeah.
really go that in depth with it. It's very like the skeleton of the story of Helena Marcus and all
Yeah.
that.
Because if they didn't like in Silent Hill, if they didn't reveal any of that, you know, they could have done so much more with so much less.
Sure.
With that exposition part, Whereas that's kind of what they did. Now the only problem was they did repeat it 3 times.
Yeah, they just did it too much in too short.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah,
Helena Marcus.
Exactly. It would have been fine if it was just one time.
Yeah.
You know that they talked. Maybe you talked to one doctor, and it's like, okay, you're going.
Well, like maybe you have Sarah tell her, and then you do the Udo Kier one and leave it at that.
I would have been fine with I would have been fine with them talking in the gym where it's like, oh, the directress has like a weird snore, like this is setting up now that this is something you have to listen for later, and then her mentioning the kind of weird witchcrafty stuff going on later without going into more details, and then after her disappearing, it would make sense like, oh, I'm going to follow up with this one doctor guy.
Yeah, because didn't Sarah mention the doctor, or
Yeah.
did the psychiatrist, or the...
She mentioned him as like a friend even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's who she
I
sent the
wanna-
letters to.
Exactly.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
have you heard? And she even like the opening is like, have you heard from Sarah at all? And it's like, no. I'll
Yeah.
call her, I'll call her parents or something later. He says something to that effect later on.
So yeah, I would do
That
it
all-
like that and
Yeah,
that. Like,
that all makes complete sense, and then him just having a passing interest in which she mentioned witchcraft. Oh, this is this. Don't even need really the second doctor.
Right.
And then that would have been. I mean, like I said, that's a fairly minor complaint. But I still like that aspect of it. Yeah, and then her repeatedly saying that she's Helena Marcus.
You're gonna kill Helena Marcus? I'm Helena Marcus.
And then that's the only thing. And then there's a few other things kind of like that where she's like, when she starts counting, like she counts like to 7. He's like, oh, I can count the footsteps. She could have just did the counting part and then went off. She didn't say like, oh, I can count the footsteps to know where they go. Like they kind of do it. They kind of spell it out maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
It's like superfluous.
well, it's like in video games where a character talks to themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, if I go up this ladder, it's like I don't do that when I'm like cleaning my house. Look, if I sweep this area first,
Yeah.
and then vacuum that.
But yeah, like I said, there's a little bit too much of those kind of things. But I once again, I can maybe like chalk it up to just being, this was an Italian person
Sure.
writing it, and
It'd be cool, like I agree, though, like the step counting part, just to have her like by the door, and just maybe with like her hand, like you just figure out that she's counting.
Yeah. And I would be even fine if she counted that out loud, but then just talking to herself like, "Oh, I can count." Like, you can kind of figure out that that's what she's doing.
Yeah,
Your footsteps. She's counting. I got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and having not seen this movie, is kind of cool that I thought it was just going to be more of a slasher type thing. It's cool that it turns out to be, this kind of witch thing, and not in a way that it builds to it too. So like we start to go, oh, this is kind of, why did the first like hitch in like the slasher thing is like, why did this dog attack, kill the guy? And so you've kind of, it builds up to you understanding that there's something more than just a crazy killer running around at the school. So you feel like with the beginning where she's talking about the secrets, and you feel like it builds properly to that end, and where it's there's actual supernatural shit going on. This is not just a weird hyper stylized world. There's actually weird shit actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all like sprung on you at once.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we've fallen off the deep end now.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is like we talked about Until Dawn before, where it's like I kind of feel like that.
Yeah,
that's what happens with
for
Until
sure,
Dawn.
for
It's like,
sure.
oh, wait, what? But yeah, this really builds to it, and I actually really.
I was thinking about playing that again, actually.
It's a great game, but that it's just a weird little hang up I have about that. But yeah, like I said, I like any movie that properly builds things. Even like it could be a bad movie, but like if I watch it and it properly builds to its ending, even though people are like, "Oh, it's predictable storytelling. Oh, they foreshadow this and that." It annoys some people, but it's like, nah, just I want a beginning, middle, and end, and it achieves that in the story.
Yeah, not everything needs to be M. Night Shyamalan. You don't need some crazy fucking twist every single time.
Yeah.
By the way, you were watching a whole other movie.
I mean, and that's what makes the twist effective when you do watch movies that have like a crazy twist. It's like, oh, you want to watch movies that have standard stories, because then ones that have a cool twist will actually surprise you, and not every fucking movie that I'm famous for making dumb twist movies. It's like, I don't even want to watch your fucking movie. I'll just watch the end.
well, I don't think there's any argument that this is one of the platinum masterclass, top of the tier movies out there, along with The Shining, which we'll eventually do an episode on.
Yeah, I love this
But-
movie. I'll go along. I'll go along with that. Seal of approval, platinum. That's 2 platinums in a row.
No.
We gave a platinum to Mandy last week.
We gave Mandy a platinum.
We sure as hell did.
Did you listen to that episode?
I watched it to a point and I was like, I want to watch this movie, so I stopped.
We gave it a platinum.
I don't believe we gave it a platinum.
Listen to the episode. Talk to me tomorrow.
What is the rating system again?
Bronze, silver, gold, platinum.
Well, there's actually more to that though. There's also
There's Better Than the Witch.
there's better than the witch.
I'd rather watch The
worse
Witch.
than the witch. But there's actually something. As much as we hate the witch, there is something worse than the witch,
Yes.
and that is the Martyrs remake.
If we'd rather watch the Martyrs remake,
You may as well
then-
just never make a movie again.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had anything that bad yet.
No.
Inside got close. The Inside remake.
Well, you didn't like. Oh, yes, the remake.
Yeah, the original I didn't like either. I appreciated it, but I didn't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
It was way too fucking brutal for me, man.
Wow. I guess Mandy was a good movie, so I guess.
Yeah, I liked it.
Sure. But
You can redact it
okay,
and say,
no, it's
I'm gonna
fine.
bump it down
It's
to a
not for
goal.
this episode. This is all
Yeah.
about Suspiria.
Sure. Might have to revisit this next week. Might revisit Mandy. Let's watch it again next week.
Possibly. All right. Get at us on Twitter at ScreamFiends. Let us know what you thought of
See Beyond the Black Rainbow, dude.
Suspiria. Are you looking forward to the remake coming out in roughly a month?
Yeah, something like that.
You want to go see it with us?
Sure, but if it's not going to, like, that's half of the movie to me is like
The colors?
how colorful and
Yeah,
crazy.
I
don't know.
mean,
I will say that Jessica Harper, who played Susie, says it's good.
it's also an hour longer than this original movie.
They're going to be like ancient Greece. Let's watch Helena Marcus.
Oh my
Yep.
God, that's
Yep.
what it is.
Rattle
Gonna
some
start-
chicken bones.
It's gonna start all the way at the
Damn
end.
it, it's going to do that, isn't it?
We will see.
It's gonna be. You know what it's gonna be? It's just gonna be It's gonna be basically the Exorcist, where it's gonna be it's gonna be Udo Kier
He's gonna find the little
in ancient Greek, and he's gonna find you know,
a little Helena Marcus
Helena
bobblehead.
Marcus Pazuzu and bobblehead.
It'd be really awesome if he played the older doctor
Oh,
this time and had
yeah.
a different guy play the young doctor.
That's a great idea. But you know what the thing is though is that Max von Sydow could still be in this shit too. That dude's still acting and stuff.
Well, from us at Scream Fiends, so long and farewell.